Now for a closer look at how the seasonal travel rush is going in China, CGTN's Rachelle Akuffo spoke with Jonathan Cao. He's the managing director of Greater China at BCD Travel. Jonathan began by giving his take on the number of travelers so far.
The Spring Festival travel rush has started on the 17th of January, so a few days ago, and it'll last 40 days. So from the advanced figures we're seeing a much busier Spring Festival this year. So we're expecting the total traffic figures will be up about 35% compared to 2021, but it'll still be down about 20% from the year before, from 2020. So we're seeing busyness and a lot of bookings in air travel. So the average ticket price is up about 40% so far. And also the other methods like traditional rail travel and also traveling by car, it's also very popular because of COVID. People want to be in a private car.
And you mentioned these different ways of traveling then. Talk about the impact of COVID protocols on people's travel choices.
Yes, so I think 2 years into the COVID situation, I think people are getting more and more used to these measures that are taking place. So it changes from time to time depending on the situation. Like today, it started Beijing. If you want to go into Beijing, you will be required to provide evidence of a negative result on the COVID test within 48 hours. And then within 72 hours arriving in Beijing, you will also need to go to one of the hospitals or clinic and do a test and provide the negative results as well. So it's certainly become more and more stringent, and it's every city and province have some special rules as well. So it is really important for our travelers to check ahead of time.
Now, this is obviously typically a time usually to spend with your families, you travel home, but which cities and regions tend to see the highest spikes in travel?
Yeah, so we're seeing similar trends as in previous years. So Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou continues to be a net export of people. So people are leaving from these cities and the big cities going into the rural areas. So I guess the number one travel destination would be the hometown to visit, to be with your relatives and friends. We're seeing also people traveling to Sichuan areas like in Chengdu and Chongqing, and also Yunnan areas. Kunming and the surrounding areas are also a very popular destination. Another new trend we're seeing as the government is promoting "Stay where you are" for the Chinese New Year message. So I think we're seeing a lot of people who are spending the New Year not traveling, but spending times at hotels and resorts in nearby areas because of also these rules from the school restricting travel for the younger children. So we're seeing hotel bookings are up a lot as well.
Now, obviously, there's an app or service for most things these days. Any advice for this year's holiday travelers to really try and minimize some of these travel disruptions?
Yes, I think continue. I think face mask is everyday practice now. I think it's just trying to stay away from areas where it is crowded, and also. But I think it's now 2 years into the COVID. It's everyone is getting used to it. So we also have companies who are bringing in tests to do tests for their employees every day, so that they have the results ready for travel anytime. So yes, so I think everything is under control.
And obviously the Lunar New Year will be coming to a close just as the Winter Olympics are kicking off. What are the expectations for the Olympics, especially given some of these new restrictions on ticket purchases?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be, there are going to be quarantine requirements after visiting or being a spectator at the Winter Olympics. But I think there's still going to be strong interest in the event, as it is a very important event for us and for the rest of the world as well. So I think there's still going to be strong interest of people attending the events and the games, especially when it's held in Beijing. And the last time we had the Olympics was in 2008. So there is definitely high interest here.
Our thanks to Jonathan Cao, the managing